pressure can be simply said to be a term that is coined to mean when someone influences you to act in a certain way. So in this case, it can be both positive or negative. My name is Evie. Welcome to Real Talk in the studios of Hope TV Ghana. It's always amazing coming into your homes to have a conversation that is dear to our hearts, to have a conversation that will change minds and change ways if God permits. And on this beautiful day, we decided to come your way with yet another interesting, very educative and purpose-filled conversation. Today we are going to talk about peer pressure. We hear this a lot, especially amongst the youth, young adults, but peer pressure can even happen to us in our old years. And we hear stories from every person in their walk of life, how they were influenced one way or the other to act in a way that they ordinarily wouldn't have acted. And today we are going to have the conversation, and we want you to join us to have the conversation. And so we are live on Facebook and YouTube, Hope TV Ghana, and we are asking you to join us, be interactive, and leave your comments under the comments section, your thoughts and how you feel about the conversation, the topic, the story, the discussion. We don't do this alone in the studio. We want to make sure that we are bringing you a very well packaged program, and so we find the right people to have the right conversation. We talk about real stories, and so we find real people to have real conversations. And these are people that may have personal experiences, people that are expertise in the field that they talk on or speak from. And today is not different. I have in the studio with me, I'm going to introduce a gentleman on my right, immediate right, who is Pastor Mark Haddo. Pastor, it's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling? How's your day been?
I'm good. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, we thank God. Are you ready for the conversation?
Very ready.
Okay. And then we have Adelaide Boy. Adelaide clearly is a young lady, beautiful young lady. I'm sure, Adelaide, you've experienced peer pressure, haven't you?
A lot.
A lot. I'm glad you said it. And so you're going to have the conversation. How are you doing? How was your week?
I'm fine. I'm doing good.
You're ready for the conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are my panelists, Pastor Mark Haddo and Adelaide Boy, and we are going to talk about peer pressure. Let me read the story so that we can delve into the conversation. So she says, "Dear Real Talk, I am a young university student in Ghana, and I want to share an experience that has left me confused and searching for answers. When I first arrived on campus, I spent a couple of weeks alone in my hostel because my roommate hadn't moved in yet. When she finally arrived, we hit it off instantly, and in no time, we became like sisters. Our bond grew so strong that even our families got to know and appreciate each other. As we grew closer, I began to notice how different we were. My roommate was a popular social media influencer, admired by everyone on campus for her beauty, confidence, and trendy lifestyle. On the other hand, I felt like a small fish in a pond, in a big pond. I wasn't active on social media and had no idea how to navigate that world. She offered to teach me, and at first I was excited to learn. But what started as innocent tutorials turned into pressure to live up to a certain image. She encouraged me to buy expensive clothes, try extravagant beauty brands, and alter my appearance. I began spending money I didn't have just to fit into a lifestyle that felt foreign to me. The situation escalated when she introduced me to a spiritualist, claiming they had helped her achieve her fame and could do the same for me. She explained that the spiritualist could enhance my online presence and even manipulate people's perception of me. At first, I was hesitant, but she was so insistent that I began to feel like this was the only way to keep up. However, after a few visits to the spiritualist, I began to feel uneasy. I could not focus in class, my sleep was disturbed, and my conscience felt heavy. She reassured me that this was normal and that every successful person in today's world made sacrifices like these. But deep down, I felt I was losing a part of myself. I no longer recognized the person I was becoming, and the pressure to fit in was suffocating me. Now I am at a crossroads. Should I continue down this path in pursuit of fame and acceptance, or should I step back and find my own way, even if it means standing alone? I am reaching out for guidance and advice. How can I find the strength to make the right decision when I feel so conflicted? Social media pressures. You know, back in the day when you had peer pressure, it came from your own peers, people that you spoke to. Now, it's not just the people in your circle, it's the people online somewhere that have no business with you. So it's like double trouble for the youth. And I wonder how we are going to navigate this life with all these extra pressures. But we are going to have the conversation and hopefully help this young girl out. But let's talk about social media influence and identity. Pastor, you know, now when you post on social media, what you quickly do is to check how many people have liked your post. Yeah. And the more people that like your post, the more, for some reason, the more influential you are, the more relevant you are. And so we are going over likes. And meanwhile, in our own life, people don't like us. We don't have people that
even
like
some don't like themselves.
Exactly. You see? And so then my question is, how does social media affect the self-esteem and identity of young people, especially in our part of the world, Pastor?
Social media is becoming a big issue to deal with. It has its positives, helping us bridge the gap of distance limitation. Right. You just click and everything is at your disposal. The same way the negatives are, you get information, unsaved information. And so, and everyone everywhere gets to know you, gets to connect with you just by clicking, accepting, or liking. Yeah. And people are becoming more enthused about it, just as you said. And so our friends, immediate physical friends, are not enough for us. We want to go beyond, because the world is earmarking or marking us by how connected you are beyond your jurisdiction. Right. And that poses a threat to young lives.
Absolutely. I'll come to you, Adelaide, and I'll ask, you said, when I asked about peer pressure, you said a lot. So I would ask about your experience with peer pressure and if you have any that is specific to social media.
Okay, so I'll talk about my roommates. Because I had a roommate that was always on social media. She was always viewing, like, maybe if a person posts, she'll view the post, and it's like she wanted to be that person. She was always, so even now she has a TikTok account, she has an Instagram account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she was always, and she always came to me that she's feeling sad because, like, people are living their lives on social media, but it's like she's not living that life. Okay. So it's kept a lot of pressure on her, and she wanted to succumb to that kind of lifestyle. Right. Yeah, so I had to tell her that you have to set boundaries. You have to be like,
you know what, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll go right into the conversation and listen to all the things that Adelaide has to say. It looks like she has a lot of experience and she's going to tell us all about it. So please do stick and stay. We'll be right back after the break. This is Real Talk.
Hope Channel is my favorite Christian channel. The best thing about it is that you can have it everywhere you go. All you need to do is to download the Hope Channel app on your Play Store or Apple Store and get all the programs you want to watch.
Welcome back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, coming your way with Real Talk, and we are having the conversation on peer pressure. A young lady finding herself in the university, has a roommate who is an influencer, who looks to be living the best life, and she seemed interesting the life seemed interesting, and so she convinced her friend who was not on social media to join, and that led to she went through a whole lot of issues with going to see a spiritualist. I mean, that's where we've got into, just to get numbers on social media, just for the likes. And we've been having this conversation with Pastor Mark Haddo and Adelaide Boy. And before we went on the break, Adelaide, you were telling me about your roommate and how she was on social media, and it was getting to her, and she came to you and you were trying to be a good friend. But do you think personally peer pressure has affected you, Adelaide?
Well, yeah, in some circumstances it has, but well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but
okay, but you have a grasp on it.
Yeah, I think I have like a very good self-image.
Okay.
So what works with me is that I first set boundaries with my friends, and I first look at my values, what I want. So you can't come to me and be like, oh, we are going out, or maybe we are going, like everyone is going to party Fridays, like. Or maybe during Val's Day, you know, everyone is always going out, but I'm not really someone that likes going out. So I'll just tell you that I don't want to go out. Like I am not in that space.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that what we would have to do as young people is that we would have to first look at what our values are and whether it aligns with the people that.
We'll talk about how we'll handle it. But Adley, how old are you? You seem very mature for your age. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm around 22.
Okay, so you're still very young. You're quite very young. But you seem very mature for your age. You seem to have a hold on what you have to do and what you shouldn't do.
That's very good.
Well, yeah, which is very admirable, because a lot of young people are just living the
friends.
Right.
They really stress with that.
And it's good that even though you have friends who are succumbing to peer pressure and social media, you're still very much confident in how you're living your life. And Pastor, let me come to you and ask you how young people can build confidence and a sense of identity, which it looks like Adelaide has built without social media.
Not there yet, but
you're getting
trying
there.
to.
Yeah.
The problem with peer pressure spans from belongingness. When she's from SHS, she goes to the university, or even from JHS, comes to SHS. There are three things that man needs.
Okay.
Emotional well-being, where you feel connected, you have friends, releases stress, it changes your mood, it gives you a special ego.
Right.
That is that emotional need. So when you go into any new setting, you want to feel belong there.
Okay.
The next is identity. I'm a fresher, a first year student. How do I make my mark here? How will people perceive me? So that identity, the quest for, becomes a temptation too.
Yeah.
The last is a social support. I came from a village, I came from the city, I'm on Legon campus, UPSA, UMAT and all that. Will I get a friend who will help me? Will I get friends I can belong to? If the girls, boys, is there a family I can belong to?
Right.
All this pushes us into what we call peer pressure. One way of tackling this is self-identity. Who are you?
Right.
Where are you coming from? When you lose that grip, who am I? Where am I coming from? And what do I want in life? Anything can influence you. So the first thing is to identify who you are and what you stand for.
Absolutely. Adelaide, you're talking about how you are able to resist the pressure from friends to go do this or that when you do not want to do it. So then my question to you would be, how did you build that around yourself? So that when friends come and say, oh, we are going here tonight, you can confidently say, you know what, I do not want to go and I will sleep in, and you'll be okay. You won't be in the room having FOMO, fear of missing out, and wondering, are they do, you know, all that. So how did you build that resilience to be able to navigate this?
I think that you'd have to spend time with yourself more.
Okay.
You'd have to find things that you really like and things that you don't like. Some people, when they first come to school, they're like, they don't really have like a place for them. Before you come to school, you're on social media, you're looking at how people go out, how people spend their life in school. You know, they're going to freaks, they're going to clubs, sometimes parties, like all that.
Yeah.
So you have to search in yourself that, is this what I want? Is this what is nice for me? Maybe I'm not someone that likes the crowd.
Right.
I'm not someone that likes socializing with these people. Or this kind of environment is not for me. The smoking, the weed, it's not for me. So maybe that's how, so you just sit with yourself. This is what I like. This is not what I like. And also try to set boundaries. People like to follow their friends, whatever they say, the crowd. People like to follow the crowd a lot.
Yeah.
So you have to set boundaries. If your friend says, oh, we have to go to this place, or maybe classes, today class is not good, so like let's just skip class. But you know that you need to go to class, you need to go and study this course. So just set boundaries. Be like, no, I'm not going to stay home today, I'm going to class.
Yeah.
So that can help you. I think self-actualization and like speaking to yourself, spending more time with yourself, it will help.
That's good to know that that's what helped you. And I think any young person listening to you can pick something from it where they will sit with themselves and then ask, what do I enjoy? Because honestly, majority of the things that end up happening, you don't necessarily enjoy it though. It's because everybody is doing it.
Yes.
I would share my personal story. Back in uni, I remember that when we got in, I was a very sheltered child. So I never went anywhere. I was always at home. And so uni seemed like my free tickets
Open
to
gates.
do whatever I wanted to
gates.
do. I know. So when back in uni, when then, oh, there's a party here and there's a hangout here and there's a drink up here and you want to go. So when it started and the invites started coming, I said, sure, me, I'll go to all of them. I went to the first one. It wasn't even up to 30 minutes and I was sleepy. And everybody was having fun in my head. I said, oh, but why? Why am I sleeping? Everybody seems to be having fun. Then the second time we went, you can't believe what happened. I slept on the speaker. That's how bad it was. So after that moment, I knew that this is not the life for me.
No,
I'd rather stay in my room and sleep. How can you sleep on speaker that is blasting? That is clear indication that you're not supposed to be there.
One thing we have to do is also try to find hobbies and personal interests. Maybe you'd like to write, you'd like to paint. So some people don't like to feel bored alone.
Exactly.
If people are going out to do something you don't want to do, just maybe paint, write.
Or do the things that you like to do, which is not necessarily the party. Maybe it's a good book to read and then just sleep in. Pastor, I'll come to you and ask about, so with this issue, with this story, the first thing that attracted her was the money, the lifestyle. She said that, oh, my friend does this and she's okay, and me, where I'm coming from, I don't know. And you know, students, when you're in school, that's the first time you sort of have financial independence because they give the money to you and then you use it for whatever you want. If you don't know how to spend the 2 weeks that your money is finished, you don't know how to call back home and say. And so this is what led this girl in there. But then my question there would be, how can students manage the monies that they get, regardless of how small it is, so that and also be content, so that the glamour of what social media is presenting will not attract them too much?
Okay, the problem is when you begin to compare yourself with your friends. Then it questions the contentment issue.
Yeah.
If you begin to compare, because 1,000 Ghana cedis to someone is a substantial amount.
Yes.
That can take care for a long time. To the other, 5,000 is something less.
It will finish right
beginning
now.
from where she was trained, nurtured, the house she is coming from and all that. So if you go to school and you begin to compare yourself with your friends, their dresses, the shada, their movement and all that, that is where you begin to sway off. And so contentment is appreciating what you have and raising up to make good use of what you have. And so in order to be content, not to be influenced negatively, first appreciate what you have as a student, as a young lady, as a gentleman, as a young guy. If you appreciate it, and then you think through, always and most of the time, being given money at the university is better than how you were spending at the senior high school, because they know that you are now of age, you need other things. So if you are very sound, you know that regardless of how small it is, whatever is given to you at the university level is better than when you're in JHS or when you're in the house. So if you appreciate and you stop comparing, at least you can manage the small that you have.
It's very true what you're saying, Pastor, because I remember my father used to send me money into my account every other week, right? And so I had an idea how much would be coming every 2 weeks. And so one time I went, so let's say the amount is 1,000 cedis every 2 weeks. And then one time I went and the money was 2,000. And in my head I said, hey, have they increased my allowance or what is going on? Can you imagine that the 1,000 that lasts me the 2 weeks, I spend that 2K
You will.
And so I spoke to my father and he said, oh, I tried to see if when I give you your money in bulk, you might. I said, please do it 1,000 because now this 2K, I have literally spent all the money.
I also used to like withdraw. He used to send it to me through Momo, so I withdraw just maybe 100 cedis. Because if I withdraw over, I'm going to spend everything.
And you wouldn't even know what you've used it for.
Yes. So you have to, I think, budget your money.
Yeah, that's very important. Let's talk about peer pressure in decision making. You know, from the story, clearly the girl made a decision to follow her friend and be an influencer on social media. Adelaide spoke extensively about how she will say no and she will stay back and she will be okay. But how can young people resist the pressure to conform to the lifestyles that we see? You know, you've seen a young person, 19, 20, 26, driving a car that your father has not even bought. And you are looking, they are not working too, because clearly you are in school. And you are wondering, how are you making this money? And you sit down, you look at yourself, and you look at the person and say, but what does she have that I don't have? If she can't get this, why can't I get this? You know, so how would you advise young people to resist this pressure? For you to let them know that this is not reality. Social media is a lie.
It's a lie.
Cars that people are driving are not for them. Houses that they are taking pictures in front of are not for them. How would young people know that you are seeing it, but now it's not seeing is believing anymore? Pastor, that's saying that
you will see. And when you believe, you'll be straight away.
Exactly.
Even with beauty standards,
yes.
Like, you see the woman.
It is not true.
Hair, nice body. I'm
exactly.
Like, oh my God, why me?
It's made up. It's made up after.
From head to toe.
Everything is packaging.
Yes.
You see, so how would you advise the young people that to resist this? This is not true. This is not reality. Yes, you are seeing it, but it is not true, and to believe in their true selves.
I'll first touch on value. The value you place on yourself. If I'm not comparing as a young guy, as a lady, myself with others, and I value that the home I am coming from, where the Lord has placed me, what I want to achieve, I am capable. I have self-value. That is self-actualization. Most people lose and are easily influenced because they don't have that self-actualization. They want to copy. They want to be like another person. They don't have the sense of seeing how valuable they are, how to be on themselves. That is one. The next will be patience. Abotre. Patience. You see, when I was in the university, I was going almost 4 years nail. And I know boys and girls understands. Nail. I remember one day I went home, my elder brother, who is a teacher, I was complaining, said, bra boots. And I said, whoa, take your time. Take your time. You, when you finish school and you are well endowed, you have whatever. As for the ladies, you will have many to select from. You have your own power to make decisions for yourself. And truly, fourth year, and when I was done, now you can see colors, different colors and shades. And so patience. The cars you see, a young lady, your mate, your colleague riding in, the wig, the hairstyle and all that. If you are patient enough, you have genuine income to buy your own. You don't know what they have been doing to gain it so quick and see flashy. You need to value yourself and you need to be very patient.
That's good to know. Adelaide, I'm going to come to you and I'll ask. So when you have friends that are living the lifestyle that they want to live, that you probably do not want to live, and you still want to be their friends, you know, to be a friend to them. You know, sometimes you can tell that, okay, I don't like this and this that they do, but I like them as friends. I still want to be their friend. How do you make sure you're not corrupted? How do you make sure you maintain your integrity and your values and still be friends with this person? Or is there a situation where immediately you spot it, you tell yourself, you know what, I won't even go there, so let me cut them off?
Okay, so with me, I characterize my friends into different groups.
Okay.
So
This is reality.
Yeah.
yes, so I have friends that like I go to class with. I have friends that we just vibe, sit and talk. I have friends that I share my personal stuff with, and I also have like friends that are like my sisters, my brothers. Yeah, so I think that by characterizing or categorizing your friends into those groups is going to help. But there are some situations where some friends are like too bad. Some people can't really set that boundaries like that, and no matter what boundaries you set, some friends can try and cross that boundary.
Yeah.
So I think in some situations you can cut them off. Yeah. And in some situations, know that this is the friend that you just like call to like maybe check out, vibe, and but this friend, you keep the person just like to share personal relationship and stuff like.
I mean, I can agree. I can agree because you look at your friend group and everybody serves a different purpose in your life.
Yeah.
There are friends that you call when you want to laugh.
Yes.
And immediately they even pick the phone. Nah,
You
start
start
laughing. There are friends that you call when you want to be vulnerable and share the life struggles, and there are friends that you call for enjoyment. You know that they're always ready. Oh, there's some new cafe be here. Let's go. You know. So you it's good that you know this is what this person is for, so that you can go to that person for advice.
Yeah.
Because you know that.
She'll give you wrong apple.
Exactly. Well, Pastor, what do you have to add to that? You know, advising how to resist the peer pressure while maintaining the friendship, if you have to.
It can be dicey because the Bible even tells that bad company corrupts life. Yes. In fact, unconsciously, the more you are closer with them, mingling, vibing, there are things you pick unconsciously. And so you need to know your limit. You see, you can't be rude and you can't be an island on campus or at the workplace. Hello, hi, then you frown your face. You don't talk to anyone, no. You are a social being. There are things you will need from them. And so keep up that polite, sociable pace with them. But just as she said, know your limits. And so when you see that the chilling point or time, what they are doing is not going to help you, withdraw. How can you say that they are smoking shisha, weed, cigarette, me I'm there, me I will not drink. You are audacious. You are even inhaling, you are even killing yourself than the one who is having a thing. And so learn to know when to withdraw, learn to know when to smile and be polite to keep that social connectivity. So withdrawing, knowing when to withdraw is a good thing.
I think so, and it's very important that you said sometimes you think you can manage it, but bad company will corrupt you. Because I remember I used to have this friend that was quick to insult. It wasn't, oh, she would just say things like, oh, idiot, oh, foolish. And the first few times that I heard it, I remember I was like, that's not a nice thing to do. But as I spent more time with her, when she says it, I'm like, oh, this is how she talks. And then I checked myself and I realized you are gradually accepting that this is a way of speaking. By the time you're also saying
the next level, you will start saying the same
exactly.
thing.
So sometimes we shouldn't think we are too strong to be, you know.
Because even the Bible says, flee from temptation. We are not stronger than anyone.
Yes, exactly. Before you realize you are the one doing it. Let's speak about faith and integrity. What are the dangers of relying on like unbiblical practices? She went to a spiritualist. She was so desperate that she believed that this person in the shrine will make people on social media like her. I think at a point it even removes your cognitive thinking from how do you come to the conclusion that, oh, I can go to this man in the shrine and he will make people on social media like me and that will turn into money? What are some of the dangers as we associate with these people gradually to become, oh, let's take pictures or let's go out, and now it is let's visit shrines. So Pastor, how the dangers of relying on unbiblical practices in pursuit of money?
Unfortunately, we go to school, we go into a new environment and we forget our roots. That is the problem. Most are coming from a very sound religious homes as Christians, as Muslims, and train all that. But unfortunately, you realize that In the house, we have many youth, but on campus, you don't get all of them. There are several times I've gotten the chance to visit campuses for investiture youth programs, and people I knew at home with their families belonging to that church were not found several times. And then later on I asked, but you said you're on this campus. So also for me, I don't like the environment, their way of worship and all that. So at campus, he or she ceases to be a Christian or ceases to be that denominational member and Seventh-day Adventist and all that. And so at school, we seek to dodge from religiosity, the worship and all that. Because of the attachment, the friends and the influence, these ladies don't go to church.
It's not cool
it's not cool to go to church. And so you shun church also. And that is where you begin to lose your grips, because everybody is religious. Even those who are not going to church, they are being indoctrinated into other things. And so in order not to, I think there are several ways and means to still get connected to your church, even on campus. For us as Seventh-day Adventists, the NAS Fellowship, for other denominations, Pensa and all that. So even on campus, you can still be religious. You see, at times you go per your marking, the sermon will not hit you academically. The English, the pastor's preaching or the person will go off and they'll be marking and all that. But regardless of how nuisance you see it, there's something in there. Maybe by a hymn, by a praise, by a meditation, that will hit you and affirm you. You need to be religious on campus. It will help you. And so when you are being introduced to any foreign thing, that old religiosity in you and the affirmation on campus will help you to be able to judge, I am not going.
And it even helps you with the kind of friends you have, because if you are involved in church activities, the likelihood is that your friends will be around, so you end up doing things that will build that faith. And first, the way you talk about we looking at is not cool. I remember one time I was having a conversation with somebody who said, oh, church is not cool now. And I said, who is coolest than Jesus Christ? The guy walked on water. He died and he rose. Who is cooler than that? Like, let's define what cool is, you know?
They like that thing too much. Because I had one friend in my room that she wasn't really in my room, but she was always coming. Anytime you're going to church or midweek service, she's like, you're always going to church. Like, what's that? She even got angry. Like, she's like, why are you always going to church? Why are you always going every day? You're at church.
You are creepy. That's the term.
Goodness. We'll have to go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve more into the conversation. This is Real Talk. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Seventh-day Adventist Church, Ashanti Central Ghana Conference, NMFiedu. Yes, we are 10 years old by the grace of God.
Ebeda na yemwe ano se yenda nyame ase na yemma amansan hu de awurade aboan ya betue.
Enti yes, celebrated 10 years in the Asherade Anuonyam.
Etia Samuel Adejumadi Sone, a decade of grace, advancing God's mission together. On the 22nd day of March 2025, Adejumadi Airbaso, our Wesley College of Education, Kumasi. Okasa for Adejumadi Mo, Ene, or software or Ben for Robert Osebunsu. Software or Ben for Kwame Anoboahin. Guest of honor, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and a royal guest of honor, Otum for Oseitu II.
Okay, who not yen show Yankopon Nunyam, fear do Aduma or the Adum Yemu. Yevishia.
Is God trying to hide something from me? What is it all about? That you can eat everything in the garden, but this tree don't touch it. She was under the tree. The devil always finds you at the location where your temptation is. The devil can tempt man to sin, but the devil does not sin for man. You are a sinner because you cannot sin unless you mentally detach yourself from God. The minute you start doubting him, that's when the devil gets opportunity to put you to the test. Don't allow the devil to put doubt in you.
In his presence, showing this and every Friday at 6:30 p.m. only on Hope Channel Ghana.
Welcome back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, coming your way with Real Talk, and I've been having this conversation with Adelaide Boy and Pastor Mark Haddo. We are talking about peer pressure and all of the things that come with peer pressure, and we are also looking at social media and how it is influencing the youth, whether positively or negatively. But it's looking like the negative side is winning. I mean, Pastor spoke about how there are so many benefits to social media.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a conversation for another day. The things you can do with it, how connected we are now. I remember my sister traveled, and I said I wouldn't have known anything that she was doing if it wasn't for social media. It feels like I can look into her life and I can relate. But unfortunately, any good thing, then the bad thing, and the trends, and we are on this whole tangent of, oh, we are doing this, we are doing that. And unfortunately, it is leading a lot of us astray. And so let's talk about recognizing and protecting your values. Adelaide, when we started, you mentioned you sitting with yourself and looking and seeing that, oh, this is what I like, this is what I don't want, I don't like. And you just mentioned church. So I'm sure you have values that you are willing to protect because you think it makes you who you are and you enjoy that. So then my question will be, in your opinion, as young as you are, how can individuals maintain their moral integrity in environments that challenge it? So for this young girl that was in school, her friend came and said, oh, I do this and I can help you do it. And it was morally, it's not something that she wanted to, and unfortunately she was not able to stand and overcome. So for her, what would you have told her to make her, you know, stand and say, these are my values and I'm not going to compromise them?
Okay, so as Pastor said, I think you should be in touch with your religious background. If you are coming from a Christian background, we know that it's very good to meditate on the word. And if you're meditating on the word, you get a good sense of the morals, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. We all know that the spiritual side is the bad side. Like going to it also has a lot of dangers.
That's the girl going to the spiritualist?
Yeah, you'd give a part of your life to the devil.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's like you're worshipping the devil,
Yeah,
but you
allowing him
claim
into-
you're a Christian.
Yeah.
Yes, which can bring a little danger to your life.
A lot of danger, actually.
Not
I
even
mean.
little.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So I think you should be in touch with your religious background. Meditate on the word, because the Lord said we are not of our own. We need to listen to the word of God. We need to read the word of God, be consistent, be dedicated to it. Yes, I think it's reading more and also building your community, having friends, the other friends that can put you in your place when you're going wayward. They can say, no, what you're doing,
it's not cool.
You have to come
back. Right,
yes.
right. I think that's an important part, because sometimes we surround ourselves with yes people. People that will just say, oh, it's okay, go ahead and do it. And then when our friends are bold enough or blunt enough to tell us, this thing that you did, you know, it's not right, then we tend to shy away from those people or take them out of our circle, because we like to hear the nice things. Oh, you're amazing. Oh, you're great. Oh, that's for you. But sometimes you need those people that to say, my friend, this thing that you did was not necessary. You shouldn't have. And so, Pastor, I'll come to you, and then I'll ask, making the right decision in the face of challenges. You know, what could this girl in the story, what could she have done differently? How could she have told her social media influencer no?
She refused to build the right support system. Earlier, I relate 3 points where you want to feel belong, you want to have an identity, and you want to have a support system. She got into the wrong support system. She was influenced by the friend, the money, and all those things, and she wanted to belong to that group. Had she gotten a religious group, a group that can, in fact, be blunt and tell you this is wrong and all that.
Yeah.
So in a way to avert the negativity of peer pressure, you need to build the right connectivity, have the right social group. And that is where your church fellowship and all those things helps you. And then there are other clubs that are not, let's say, so much religious clubs, but can help you. You have clubs, I don't want to mention names, but there are volunteering clubs on campus and all that. And so she built a wrong system. And so, you see, the need for belongingness is there.
Yes.
If you don't build the right system, you have the wrong one.
Yeah.
And you can't be in limbo between the two. You can never be alone. You can be alone for some time at the university, but at a point in time, you'll be swayed off. And so, instead of waiting to get into the wrong group, build or belong to the right group. And I will recommend a church, a social positive club that will help you so that away from home, you will feel belong. It will help you to overcome all these things.
And even help you shoot videos, because she said she wanted to be a content creator.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, actually, that was my next question to you, that the truth is, campus can be expensive.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that was like me, that was spending money like my head was not on correctly, campus can be expensive. Let's just say you have the need for the extra cash. What were some of the things that you could have done that would have been morally right and legally, you know, right as well, to prevent her from going into all of these troubles, to build financial independence?
She could have just, she wanted to be a content creator.
Yeah.
So she could have created contents maybe based on Christian groups in the church, maybe with her friends, because we have a lot of denominations in our school. So you can go to churches. You can interview campus interviews.
Okay.
Yeah, you can interview people around campus, talk about God, talk about like your life, even other things like away from God, like just your normal campus life, like your emotions, you can do a lot of things. You can even people decide to sell clothes on school and stuff like that. Yeah.
But you know, the truth of the matter is, the Christian content, they don't trend on campus.
But still, let me
But
add.
we can start from somewhere.
You know, Christian content, for some weird reason, we act as if it's not popular and they are not famous.
It's true.
Like, it's
not
very,
popular.
yes, Pastor.
In fact, you can create, I remember, I think last year or so, this gentleman started fishing out weird English weddings and explaining the meaning.
Okay.
And it started trending.
Okay.
In fact, I've forgotten, I wanted to pick one. A big word and the meaning, and it started trending everywhere.
It's a physical mentality.
Oh, it will trend everywhere. So as a student, you can even decide to create content in your subject area. I have seen several on TikTok, Instagram, where they are grammarians, grammar, proper English usage. You can create some are using food, catering services, food recipes and all that. I've seen some creating content from health tidbits and all that. You can even be a comedian, a positive one, and still have a content. Those things sells.
Yeah, it does.
The bad ones is exposing yourself sexually, getting involved in all those things.
And lying.
But there are still things you can create content for.
I agree. And I think what will solve the whole Christian content are not popular is when we, the Christians, support it.
Yeah.
Because we always say there are more Christians in a community than ever, but you do something on Christianity
no one
and
like
you don't
it.
find them, but we
No
go
one
to
like
church.
it.
Either on Sabbath or Sunday, we are going to church. So who are the people liking the
other
the
ones?
other one? You see, so if we try to be better Christians, we can push our own so that we can also get popularity. Because trust me, Jesus Christ was popular.
Very.
He was a popular guy. People were coming from far and near just to come and see him. So that brings me to my next question about support systems. And Pastor, you mentioned that she didn't find the right support system. How can friends and family support, you know, students in school? And then even you as a student, how do you look and point and say, this person will not help me, this person will help me, and surround yourself with the right people?
I will let Adelaide speak to on behalf of the student. Let me speak as a parent on behalf of the family. I'm asking, let me go to the screen. I want to ask you, mother, daddy, when was the last time you visited your ward, your son, your daughter, or your relative on campus? When was the last time? Have you ever? You see, for us as students, we have a special joy, when your father cruise in with his old BM, whether old or new, or when you have a family or a church that calls on you or visits you. The local church, there are some denominations, when you leave home to school, you have left for good. Nobody cares about you. And so once in a while, if you go on campus checking on your daughter, your son, as a church, checking on your students, calling them, at least it will be say, hey, I know that once this is Saturday, Sunday, my church pastor will call, my elder will call, my fellowship youth leader will call, or someone will come around. And so that alone serves as a self-check on you. And so in as much as the student or the young lady or guy will have to find ways to check himself, we as a family, as a community, as a church, we have a role to play to help them whilst they're on campus.
I think that is true because my brother had this thing of showing up at my campus unannounced.
Oh, it's good.
Yes, and the first few times I was so upset. I'm like, why is he? And fortunately or unfortunately for him, when he comes, I'm sleeping. So he used to say, every day you're sleeping. And so then, but it was at the back of my mind. Whenever I want to make a decision to go somewhere, I'm like, hey.
That's obey. When
you just come and be knocking on my door and they say, where is she, where is she? So sometimes it's true. It checks you when you know that, oh, your dad will pop in, your mom will, or your brother or somebody will come through. It makes you think of the things you do. But if you know that for the 4 months,
no one cares. Not even a call. Nobody cares.
You know, so I think that's cool for you. So Adelaide, what has helped you with your support system? Because it looks like you have a solid support system.
Yeah, I actually do have a good solid support system. Like I have, most of my friends are really morally grounded and really creepy, if I may say.
That's fine, that's
and
okay.
Some of them are really, really strict. Like sometimes even if I wear a clothing below my knee or a little bit above my knee, like they're like, why are you sending that to?
Really?
Like, why are you going? Serious. They really act like my mom. Even my mom doesn't even pressure me like that. So like, it's important to have that type of friendship, and sometimes the lecturers do help. To have a good lecturer that can help you with. Even when I was in SHS, I had like a caretaker that was always, sometimes he comes to visit me, he keeps my money and stuff. So I was always like very proper, prim and proper. Because I know that he's around and he's a teacher. I can meet him anywhere. Yes, so that helped me a lot to stay morally grounded.
And I think you usually attract what you give out, you know. I'm sure with your lifestyle and the things you're hoping to achieve, you attracted the right kind of friends. Because honestly, they say pick the first 5 people closest to you, and then that will show you who you are. And so maybe if you tell yourself that this is how you want to move, you find the people that will support you. Okay, so before we go, let's talk about long-term prosperity and success. This short-term making money has become a thing. Now everything back. We are not wasting time. You make, you go, you make, you go. And that is what is leading us to all of these things. I remember this actress, Nana McBrown, said she's been in the industry for over 2 decades. And then you see somebody that is 25 saying that she wants to get to the success level
of Nana McBrown.
How? But this is us, we the young people. You see all these people that we call our celebrities. A Jackie Appiah, and you're like, oh, I want to be a Jackie Appiah in a year.
We don't have.
She started when she was 18 and she's 40 something. You know, it's like we are quick to make the money. How do we tell young people that long-term success is great? You should build it, and it's wealth over time, and not pay attention to this Ochina by Ochina there. Then I am some influencer, because that's what forces us to go and see Baba now and
Yeah,
Papa now.
it's true. The problem is that our age and Gen Z and beyond, we are lazy. Lazy. We don't pay attention to details. In fact, even in the Bible, it will influence you or interest you to know that when you read a story about Joseph, from the pits, from prison to the palace, took almost around 30 years. And you think that God will just wrought out a miracle, then you are gone. It will interest you to know that some had to wait 20, 25 years to even give birth. And so if you pay attention to details, and Nana Mama Brown is your star, you read more, and you get to know that it is not a 9-day wonder thing. We saw the picture, we see her moves, and that is what we are quick to. But we don't want to go into detail. Where is she coming from? What has been her ups and downs? What has brought her here? We are just into the successes. We don't pay attention to detail. No one successful is with success without patience. And so there are people who are successful in a way or in quote, but their success do not last. The account people have this adage, where it is quick to come, it is quick to vanish or go. And so you must be patient, pay attention to details, know that person very well before you copy blindly.
Right. Adelaide, any final words for people like you in situations like this, and even for the students at large?
So I think it's better to build at least short-term objectives before you get to the goal. People like to jump a step over the objectives to the goal. It's better to build a little bit of objectives, before you get to your goal. So you know that this is a step by step. I have to go to this step before I go to this step, before I go to this step, before I get to my goal. And also practicing patience can help with going through the steps.
Before we go past, I want you to share with us something that happened in your life that you would consider peer pressure, and whether you succumbed to it or you overcame it. Adelaide, you're thinking about it. I'm coming to you as well.
Should I say I was fortunate?
I just want them to know that we can all relate.
Oh, yes, or naive. I was not much into sex issues. And I remember my first porn was in my room with my roommates. Those times it's this deck thing. We were watching TV and they slaughtered the deck. And so what is that? And they all started laughing at me. I couldn't stand. I left the room. So you've been watching all this? And I said, no. I thank God for where I'm coming from. Whether they will brand me a villager or a countryside, I thank God for where I am coming from. And so I was introduced to those things in the room with my roommate. And so it's either you stay, watch, get addicted, or you leave and occupy yourself with other things. For me, off campus or on campus, I'm always a church person. And so with this youth thing, I use those things to keep myself busy. And I was a volunteer on campus, working at a school, work study and all that. So I'm always busy. So I was influenced, or I was introduced to these movies, pornography and all that. But the Lord saved me.
Amen. Ali, share your personal experience. Then I'll ask Pastor how this girl can take herself out of the spiritual bond, because that's very important.
So mine happened in level 100 when I first got to school. I was innocent, naive. So my friends, my roommates, I got to know them over there. They were dating, they were always moving around with guys. Some of them had long-term relationships from SHS. So they were like, why am I staying
Single.
Yes, single.
Yeah, yeah.
Because during Valentine's Day, their birthday, their
They
boyfriends
are
and their
getting
yeah, they're getting things, flowers,
teddy
chocolates.
bears and chocolates.
So me, I also like chocolates. I won't lie. So they were pressuring me. They were like, so as we are getting gifts like that, lying down there, are you happy? And I was like, I remember that my mom told me that she used to hail me to her peers always that I'm not really into like relationship. I'm not really into sex and stuff like that. And it's registered in my head that if I enter this relationship and she gets to know how disheartened will she be? Yeah, so I was like, nah, I just won't.
So it was that
because I know
way.
myself. Yeah, if I get into this, I'm going to be, my all is going to be in this.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to distract me.
So the fear of disappointing your mother also made you.
Yeah, that was the main reason.
I see. Yeah. That's good to know. Mothers, please give your daughters words of affirmation. Tell them, oh, you are the best child I've ever known. Or as for you, nobody. You know, it gets stuck in your head and then you decide to be like great. And my father always says, this girl, he says I like reading and sleeping. So he says that one time they were traveling and I was of age and they were wondering if they should leave me behind and go and come. And so I had them in the room trying to have the conversation, and then my mother was like, oh, she's a big girl. She doesn't even go anywhere. She will lock up and she'll be in the room. And my father said that I'll either be reading or sleeping and they'll steal me and the entire house. And I wouldn't know that they've come to steal us, you know. So sometimes when parents say these things, and until now, when in a month I haven't read a book, I'm like, if my father gets to know that the person that he says he likes reading has not even read a book in a month, then I'll just go and pick something and read. So when parents keep telling their children that, oh, you are this, you are that, good things, it registers. And we love the applause from our parents. Yes, it makes us feel so good. So we want to keep doing that. But Pastor, this situation is very dire because now she's in a spiritual bondage. And now I don't know how she's going to get out of it. As a man of God and as a pastor, what does she need to do to get out of it? How does she need to disconnect from this friend? And is it that she should delete all the social media platforms? Like, what does she need to do?
First, I will say that she should know that God is a forgiving God. That's the first thing. Whatever be the magnitude of whatever that has happened, no matter how big the sins are, we have a bigger God who forgives. And so she should have that trust, that confidence to approach her maker, that's the Lord. And the Lord will forgive her of all the things she's done. 2, it is never too late to connect to the right social support. And so she should find a church group, a fellowship, a prayerful one, and then join them to pray. There's the fear. Once I've gone to the shrine, that spiritual realm, backing up out, I have effect, they will kill me and all that. That church group, that fellowship, and their prayers can help to erase that idea, that mentality from. And the Lord can save through deliverance. And so that one too will help. The third is that she should come back, reset her life. Where am I coming from? What are the things I neglected? What are my upbringing? There are things the Lord, through the family, the community she hails from, gave to her. She should go back to them. And then she should be patient. Rome was not built in a day. Your career, your success cannot be built just in a twinkle of an eye. She needs to have the patience of the saints, be prayerful. With that system support, she can still be who she wants to be.
Aled, anything you want to add before we go?
Yeah, he has said everything, but yes, I would add that she should also be patient. She should know who she is. The self-identity is very crucial. She should identify herself, know what she likes, what she doesn't like, and also try to set boundaries between her friend, her roommates, or other people in the future that might pressure her into doing other things.
She should withdraw. To this extent where this influencer, this friend, she should withdraw. In fact, if she says that she will stay connected to, there's no way, she should withdraw. it is never a big deal to lose a friend. Even we lose parents, we lose so you can lose and still get a new friend, the right one. Even when you are in your final year, at times you think that when you leave school, you not get that connectivity, or you are lying. In fact, how many of your friends in JHS, SHS, do you remember their names? How many of your friends, even in the university, do you still have their contact? You are coming into the whole new world altogether. New friends, new aspiration and all that. And so she should withdraw and look out for better people to connect to.
And I agree with you, because sometimes, and also the reason why she has to withdraw is that most of the close friends we have now are the friends that we made in university. So imagine if she keeps this friend. This is going to be her lifetime friend. So all the bad advice will continue. So she has to make the decision of letting go and then making sure that she's okay. And if it's money, like we said, she can even sell. Water moves fast. And if you're floor, you're the only one that is selling water. Everybody will come to you and come and buy water. Popcorn. And you know, when it's Valentine and your friends, you sell the chocolate. They'll come and buy from you. All the people that, I forgot last minute, I have Kojo, I have Kofi, they'll come and buy from you, and then you make money, wouldn't you? There are so many ways. It's just, I'm just thankful that we've been able to capture the story and what she can do, or how she can help herself out of the situation. So I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Pastor Makhado, and then Adelaide. Boy, I think you should continue with everything that you're doing at 22. You have a good set of head on your, a good head set. You don't have two heads, a good head on your shoulder. And I think you should just continue and support yourself with the right people. I have learned a lot from this conversation, and I think that even parents who have listened in have heard a lot from the conversation as well. Immediately your wards go to school, do not think it is a time for you to thrive and, it's a me time and my children are gone. Reach out to them, let them know that you're always listening, you're always watching, and then I'm sure that will keep them on their toes. And for all the organizations in schools, the religious societies in schools, I think we should do a good job of reaching out to our members, our students, checking up on them, and getting them involved in church activities. Because when you are busy with church, what time do you have to be doing all the extra things? You have rehearsals, you have choreography, you have Bible study, you have quizzes. It takes a lot of your time, and that will limit the extraness that boredom usually brings in. And the Bible says that what profits a man if they gain the whole world and they lose their soul. And that should let you know that there is more to this life. And if you're living a Christian life, hopefully one day to make it to heaven, all these are just extras. Social media came some few years ago. Something else is going to come that will be bigger, that will blow the minds of the world on social media. What are you going to say? You're going to move on to the next trend? Things that trend are not lasting forever. It's just a moment and then it will go. So be true to yourself. You do the classic things, the things that are always, relevant in our society, and not the trends. Trends always come and pass. One time it was wearing shiny disco dresses, and then it became colo, and then they brought in something else. So everything will keep changing, and so be careful what takes your time, what takes your mind, what takes your entire soul and body, and be careful the friends you keep, because they can either make you or unmake you. I'd like to say a big thank you once again for joining us today on Real Talk here at Hope TV Ghana. We'll be back same time next week with yet another interesting conversation. Real Talk, real stories for real people is a place where we have real stories and find real solutions. And so do not forget that you can send your stories as well, and we'll make sure we find the right people to have the right conversation. So until then, please continue to enjoy the rest of the content on Hope TV Ghana, and we will be back same time next week. My name is Evie, and have yourselves a lovely night. Good night.